Good morning, guys. Today we will have to discuss about the reproduction in flowering plant, that is angiospermic plant, and basically we will have to discuss about the sexual reproduction of angiospermic plant, because a sexual reproduction, that is budding, that is cutting, that is sporulation, that is grafting, that is the layering, etc. we will have discussed in previous chapter. Now, flower. It's a modified suit. And a typical flower, which is called bisexual flower, have 4 whorls. Among these 4 whorls, 2 that is called sepal and petal. That is sepal and petal. Both are called accessory whorls. And this sepal, the group of sepal is called calyx and group of petal is called corolla. And 2 additional whorls, that is called the main whorl, the male whorl, that is called anther plus filament is called stamen, and female whorl, that is called stigma plus style plus ovary, and it is called stem. All these whorls are attached on a separate part, that is called thalamus, and this one is called thalamus. Here you will see that it is thalamus. At the center of thalamus there is a ovary, a swollen structure. It is called stigma. This one is called style, and this one is called ovary, and all the 3 collectively called pistil. Now, the male part having anther and filament, and this together is called stamen. Both are essential whorl because both are responsible for the formation of their gametes or their female gametes or male gametes. Pistil form female gametes, and this anther form, this stamen, is responsible for the formation of the male gamete. The gamete of the male part is called pollen grain, pollen, and this part is called ovum. In addition to that, a very much attractive part, colorful part of the flower is called corolla, and a small part is called calyx. This 2 is called accessory because this calyx is responsible to provide protection at the time of bud when the flower is not been bloomed, and the corolla is responsible to attract the insects, especially in the entomophilous insects, entomophilous flowers. So these 2 are not directly involved in the reproduction but indirectly involved in the reproduction, so it is called accessory part, and this one is called essential part. Now we'll have to discuss about the separately the anther and the male part and the female part of the flower, the male reproductive part. Male reproductive part of flower. Just as I have discussed earlier, having an anther and a filament. Now if you see, the anther is attached with the filament. On the basis of the attached filament with the anther, this anther is of many more types. This one is the anther, this one is the anther, this is the anther, and the special type of the anther is like this. The filament is attached here if it is at base. It is called basifixed. Basifixed anther. If it is attached at this position, at the dorsal part, it is called dorsifixed. If it is attached total of this particular part, this one is called adennate. And a special type of the anther which is called versatile. Versatile. And this type of anther is mainly found in the anemophilous flower, anemophilous plant, where the pollination will take place with the help of wind. Because the versatile anther float over it and scattered the pollen grains, and that pollen grains will be carried by the air and ultimately go to the different part of the flower. Now we will have to discuss about the internal structure of the anther. We know that anther is basically this type of structure. And this too is called anther lobe. Anther lobe. Generally, it has been observed that one anther lobe have two. If you cut the section of this anther lobe, then you can observe that each anther lobe have two such type of structure. And this is called pollen sac. This is called pollen sac. Pollen sac. Now, if you see the internal structure of this particular anther, then you will observe that it is of like this. This dotted structure is called anther lobe or microsporangium. Microsporangium. Because in earlier stage, when the pollen anther is in juvenile phase, it is called microsporangium, and this microsporangium have microspore mother cell, which is very much compactly arranged. If you see the structure of this part, the electron microscopic structure, then you will observe that this part have outer layer that is called epidermis. Epidermis. A middle layer below this. This type of structure is has been found. It is fibrous in nature and mainly provide protection to this particular microsporangium, and this layer is called endothecium. This layer is called endothecium. Below this layer, there is 2 to 3 layered thick, 2 to 3 layered thick like this. Middle layer, and this one is called middle layer. Below this middle layer, a club-shaped single layered thick structure is found, and this is called tapetum. Tapetum here is spore mother cells, compactly arranged spore mother cell or microspore mother cell, because they are responsible to form microspores, that is called pollen grain. It has been observed during maturity, this pollen grain, this microspore mother cells enlarge. And due to this enlargement, this microsporangium become enlarged. And due to this enlargement, what happens? This microspore mother cells become very much enlarged to form a separate space. And now it is called pollen sac. So there is certain difference between the pollen sac and the microsporangium. The initial phase, in juvenile phase, the structure which is covered by this all the layers, that is called tapetum, that is called middle layer, that is called endothecium, and the epidermis, which all are protective as well as secretory in nature, are covered, responsible to cover this particular sporangium, this microsporangium, and after this, when it will go into maturation, this is called pollen sac. Now, it is fibrous layer, provide protection. Epidermis provide protection. This middle layer, when fused, to give nourishment to this particular microspore mother cell at the time of division or at the time of pollen formation. And this tapetum, which is of two types. One is called secretory tapetum and one is called amoeboid tapetum. Secretory and amoeboid. This secretory tapetum is responsible to form a special type of secretions which is responsible for the formation of the exine, the outermost covering of the pollen grain. We will discuss how pollen grain is formed. Secretory exam, and it is also responsible to form the sporopollenin, one of the resistant chemicals of the plant kingdom, and they are also responsible for the covering of the pollen grain. Now we will have to discuss how pollen grain is formed. Formation of pollen grain, that is called microsporogenesis. Microsporogenesis, that is called development of pollen grain. How it will form? What happens? Just we have discussed that the inside microsporangium, so many pollen grains are present. So many microspore mother cells are present. After getting a maturation, it divides meiotically. Meiotically, it means it is 2n, 2n. And one microspore mother cell is responsible to form four pollen grains, and these four pollen grains are not separated immediately but are attached in the form of the tetrad. But this tetrad may be of the four types. One like this, another may be in this form, third one either in this form or in this form. It is the most common type of the tetrad. These odd cells are attached together by callus. It is a carbohydrate containing substance. Tapetum also release callus, which dissolve the callus to free each and every pollen grain to each other from the tetrad. So callus are responsible to join this particular all pollen grains in a tetrad, and callage, which will be secreted from the tapetum, is responsible to dissolve the callose layer to form the pollen grain. Now this is the one of the most common type of the pollen tetrad, which is found in the angiosperms. It is called tetrahedron. It is called linear. It is called T-shaped, and this one is called decusate. These are the types of the tetrad, and now we'll have to discuss about the how this pollen is being formed. Pollen grain is being formed. What happens? Carriers act upon this particular tetrad and form a structure having haploid nucleus. It is surrounded by an inner structure it is called intine, and an outer structure that is incomplete. This intine is complete structure, complete circular structure, exine, which is like this. this type of structure is formed, and this is called exine. The space where exine is not present is called germ pore. Now, after some times it has been observed there is a mitotic division. This haploid case, haploid cell, mitotic division, and two cells are formed, one at this position and another at this position, and is separated by a layer it is also called callus layer. Now in this condition you will see that the pollen grain is two nucleated structure. One is called tube nucleus and another is called generative nucleus. It is also called vegetative nucleus. So in this way we will see that the male gamete is being formed, and today we will have to discuss up to this level. In next chapter we will discuss development of female